So I'll record this for you. You can watch each individual video. So at some point you step a line looks like this. And here's where your whole project starts. Step one. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Make an 8-inch line.
What's that?
Make an 8-inch line.
So there's your 8 centimeter line right here. I'll always go back to that 8 centimeter line when I duplicate a length. Okay? Now, my goal here is to create a perpendicular bisector. Now, if you watch Ms. Strager's video, you'll notice she says something about using the width of your thumb for your compass. Okay, the reason that we're doing that is you have to have a segment to perpendicularly bisect. And right now, that's just the point ends right here. So your original 8 centimeter line really has to extend with your straight edge a little bit longer than that. Now you have something to perpendicularly bisect. So I'm going to put my pivot point right here in the middle of my line. And I'm just going to, it doesn't matter how big it is, she says thumb width, the scale here is a little off. If you've done your project yet, most of you guys are not swinging full arcs, are you? All you need is just a mark that touches that line. So there's a mark on one side, there's a mark on the other. Alright, so those are the first marks we've put down. I'm going to call this Mark 1 and Mark 1. So that is the next location that I'm going to go to. You go to Mark 1 on one side or the other, and what's the important part that has to happen here? It has to be a little bit more than halfway. Okay, however you want that to be. So now I'm more than halfway. You're going to have to arc above your line and below your line. Without changing the radius of your compass, you go to the other mark that you made. And you're going to arc below and above. And man, I just barely made it on my marks, didn't I? So that creates your second set of marks. There is one more construction that you have to make. Right? How long is this dotted line supposed to be? It's supposed to be 8 centimeters. So you go back to your original starting point and your original 8 centimeter long line. I know my new line has to be that long. And I have to make a mark up here like this. Now I'm going to take my straight edge, and you have to hit like 4 different points. It has to go from this intersection to this point, to this intersection, to that line. All those things have to match up. This intersection, the end of your line, this intersection, and up here. That creates a right angle. So your first triangle is almost done. What's the last thing you have to do? You have to connect it from here, the end of your 8 centimeters, to here. So that red, orange, and green line have just created my first triangle. Now, I did a bad job of it kind of explaining this. I recommend when you do that to make sure that your hypotenuse is just a little bit longer. Why do we need it to be just a little bit longer? Do we have something to bisect? Now the good thing about your project is it's on poster board. So if you don't like bisecting something that's all crooked, you can turn your poster like this, and now you have a flat line to bisect. So I go to this intersection of the hypotenuse and the side of the triangle and I make small little marks. That gives me something to bisect. Make a mark here. Make a mark here. Now as you do this, you'll get more and more and more efficient. Move over to your first mark. Make sure that your compass is more than halfway across. Boom. Up and down. Got it? Got it. Go back and I would always measure your original 8 centimeter long piece. The new line should connect this intersection, this intersection, this intersection, all the way up here. And it does. And now when you're marking it, you can not draw this piece down here. You don't have to draw this piece. But your ruler should match up right there. And then finally, to connect your new piece from the center to that intersection and make it just a little bit longer. And we just keep going and keep going and keep going.
So basically, you're always going to be on the hypotenuse side. Of the
You will
triangle.
always use your hypotenuse to construct your next piece.
It's always gonna be 8 centimeters that way.
This piece right here, we call this the leg, 8 centimeters. 8 centimeters. 8 centimeters. Will always be 8 centimeters. Does that clear it up for you guys a little bit? Alright. So,